Hello guys, welcome everyone to a new video with a new concept, working capital management. Today in this video we'll be discussing about how to solve a working capital management problem or how to arrive at working capital when a question is given. Here is a question guys. I want everyone to write down this question so it will be easy for you guys to understand and solve this problem quickly without much difficulty. I'll assume that everyone have taken the questions. Now let's start with the solution part. Step 1, it is the calculation of units at the new level. If you look into the question says that the capacity is increased by 50% over the existing level. So your existing level is 52,000. It is increased by 50%. So it will be 52,000 into 50 percentage, you get 26,000. So your new level will be 78,000. So this is your new level. The first step it is you have to calculate the new level of units. Step 2 is the calculation of total overheads. You require two columns, particulars and amount. The information required to solve this part is given in other information or data supplied with regard to unit cost structure of the product at current level. That information will help you out in the question part. So if you look there, overheads, there are manufacturing overheads variable, manufacturing overheads fixed, administrative overhead variable and selling overheads variable. Using these information will calculate the total overheads. So there manufacturing overhead variable, it is given as 4 rupees. So your new level of output, it is 78,000. So it is 78,000 into 4, you get 3,12,000. Same way it is for manufacturing overhead fixed. So when it says fixed, even if your level of output increases, the price remains the same. So it will be 52,000 into 3, 1,56,000. Your fixed cost remains the same. Administrative overhead, it is 78,000 into 2 rupees, that is variable, 1,56,000. Selling overhead variable, it is 78,000 into 2, it is 1,56,000. Your total overhead comes to rupees 7,80,000. This is the second step you have to do. A third step, it is statement showing EBIT. EBIT is nothing but earnings before interest and tax. So you know how EBIT is calculated. Let's discuss briefly. So first we'll take sales. Sales information given to us, it is our new level of output, it is 78,000. Our selling price per unit, it is 30 given in the question. So it will be 23,40,000. Now from sales we'll be deducting variable expenses. The variable expenses are as follows. Wages 5 rupees per unit, it comes to 3,90,000. Variable manufacturing overhead 4 rupees per unit, it comes to 3,12,000. Raw materials 10 rupees per unit, it comes to 7,80,000. Variable administrative overhead, it comes to 1,56,000. It is 2 per unit given in the question. Same way selling overhead, it is given as 2 in the question, it comes to 1,56,000. The total it is 17,94,000. If you deduct these, you get contribution. Your contribution value, it is 5,46,000. So that is your contribution value. From contribution, if you deduct less fixed overhead, that is your fixed overhead, it is 52,000 into 3. Your fixed overhead never changes, even the output increases. If it is 52,000 into 3, you get 1,56,000. If you deduct 1,56,000, you get 3,90,000. That is your earnings before interest and tax or operating profit. Next, it is the step 4, calculation of cost of production. Your step 4 is nothing but calculation of cost of production. To calculate cost of production, you'll be taking sales, that is 23,40,000, less your EBIT, that is earnings before interest and tax, which was calculated previously by you guys, that is 3,90,000. If you deduct that, you'll be getting cost of production, that is 19,50,000. It will be your cost of production. I hope that you guys have understood till here. Step 5 is the calculation of current assets. Under current assets, you have raw materials first. Let's look into the information given related to raw materials in the question. The unit price of raw material is 10. I've entered that. We have that in the question. Next, raw materials will remain in stock for 1 month. That is time taken, it is 1 month. The units we have calculated, it is 78,000. So it will be 78,000 into 1 divided by 12 into 10, you get 65,000. So that is how raw materials is calculated. Next, work in progress. First thing you have to do is you have to calculate the number of units for work in progress. So already you have units, new level it is 78,000. Next, what you have to do is material will remain in process is nothing but work in progress. Material will remain in process is nothing but your work in progress. It remains for 2 months. So to calculate the number of units, it is 78,000 into 2 divided by 12. You get 13,000 units. So the first step in work in progress it is you have to calculate the number of units. The next step it is in raw materials you will have to calculate for raw materials work in progress. Your raw material it is 13,000 into value of raw material per unit it is 10 rupees into 100 percentage. You get 1,30,000. Next, wages. Wages and overheads, it's always considered at 50 percentage. You have to ensure that you always take it as 50 percentage. So wages it is 13,000 into value of wages per unit it is 5 into 50 percentage. So this should be always 50 percentage. Wages it will be always 50 percentage. Overhead we have calculated in step 2, I guess, the total overheads. So it is 78,000 into 2 months, that is 2 divided by 12 into 50 percentage, we get 65,000. So that is how for overheads it is calculated. So if you make the total of these three, that is raw materials, wages and overheads, you get 2,27,500. That is how work in progress is calculated. We will continue with the calculation of current assets. So we are done with raw materials and work in progress. And next we'll move on to finished goods. So finished goods, for finished goods, what you need is you need cost of production. After calculating EBIT, you have calculated cost of production. That information will be used to calculate the value of current assets for finished goods. Your cost of production, you have calculated it as 19,50,000. Finished goods will remain in the godown for how many months it is? 1 month. So you have taken that 1 month. So it is 19,50,000 into 1 divided by 12. You get 1,62,500. So that is your finished goods. Next it is debtors. For debtors also you have to use cost of production. Your cost of production it is 19,50,000. For debtors you have to look into the time period of credit allowed for debtors. It is 2 months. Debtors are allowed credit for how many months it is? 2 months. Credit allowed it is 2 months. So it is 19,50,000 into 2 divided by 12, you get 3,25,000. So the last concept it is, if you see the additional information, it says that the company requires a cash of rupees 50,000. So I have taken as it is 50,000. So that's how you calculate current assets. Previously, we calculated current assets. Now we'll move on to the calculation of current liabilities. In current liabilities, first one we have creditors. Creditors, the unit produced by the organization, the new level it is 78,000. Suppliers grant a credit of 3 months. They are giving us a credit of 3 months. Raw material, we have to assume that we don't have any other creditors apart from we are purchasing only raw material. So that means raw material per unit price it is 10. So it is 78,000 into 3 divided by 12 into 10, we get 1,95,000. Next, it says that wages and other expenses are delayed by 1 month. So wages, we'll consider it as outstanding wages. Unit produced it is 78,000. Time lag it is 1 month. Wages per unit, if you see the variable amount, it is 5 per unit. So it is 78,000 into 1 divided by 12 into 5, we get 32,500. Next, we don't have any other expenses. So that means we have to consider the total overheads. We have calculated total overheads in the beginning. So we'll be using the total overheads for calculating outstanding other expenses. So the time lag is 1 month. So it is 7,80,000 into 1 divided by 12. We get 65,000. So that is how current liabilities and current assets are calculated. The last step is the calculation of statement showing working capital requirements. You require 3 columns for the calculation: particulars, amount and amount. First, you'll be writing the total current assets. Total current assets is nothing but you have already calculated the value of raw materials 65,000, work in progress 2,27,500, finished goods 1,62,500, debtors 3,25,000 and cash 50,000. If you make the total of this total current assets, you will be getting gross working capital of 8,30,000. From this gross working capital, if you deduct total liabilities, that is creditors 1,95,000, outstanding wages 32,500 and outstanding expenses 65,000, which were calculated previously, you'll be getting net working capital before contingency, that is 5,37,500. Once you get this 5,37,500, in the question it says that you have to add contingency at 10%. So to add contingency at 10%, what you have to do is you have to take the net working capital before contingency, that is 5,37,500 into 10%. So you have to multiply by 10%. So you'll be getting 5,91,250 will be your net working capital. So let's have a quick recap how this working capital statement is done. The first thing is you have to calculate the new level of output if it is given. Next it is you have to find out the total overheads. Third it is you have to find out the EBIT or operating profit. Fourth, you have to find out the cost of production. Once cost of production is found out, the next step you have to find out the total assets and liabilities, that is current assets and current liabilities. Once you find out the current assets and current liabilities, the next step it will be very easy for you guys to substitute the information or put on the calculated information. So that's how the calculation of working capital requirement is done. If you have any doubts, you can put your questions. Thanks for watching.